Hello and welcome to the daily briefing from the Reykjavik Open. I am FIDE Master Ingvar Jóhannesson and next to me is International Master Björn Torfinsson in the field position after being grounded down horribly by Yuri Krivorusko. Björn, are you okay?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
It's a tough feeling.
So you had an easy draw?
Yeah,
more or less.
Apparently but this is probably the difference between these 2,700 almost grandmasters, that they just keep on bringing some minor problems that just
keep on
and then they get
problems.
you in the end. I think at some 5 or 6 moments in the game I thought I was just totally drawn, or maybe even I had chances.
Yeah.
But always the most challenging move, and in the end I broke. Apparently, after I reached the time limit, that was the final mistake. I had to draw just before that. So
yeah, it's also interesting that in 5 rounds, 200 players, and we played the same opponent twice now. Yeah, I played Krivorusko in the second round.
Okay, and, amazing.
And now all the commentators played against Björnsson.
Yeah, you are actually stuck in a local Icelandic tournament.
Yeah, it's like I'm playing a local Icelandic tournament, which sucks. You know, we're getting like hundreds of foreign players, and I keep playing Icelandic players. So
yeah, it's a bit annoying. So as you can hear, the commentators are not in a good mood, but we'll try our best to make a decent show.
We'll try our best. You just finished, so
we should check.
I had more time to look at the results. So we started to get some high-level classes on the first board.
Definitely.
We got.
Just scroll up a little bit.
Yeah. Like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
On first board,
Wayne Jones against Caruana.
Caruana lost some rating points now, so
Yeah,
Nakamura might be happy.
Hikaru might be happy. I don't know if
there will be a tasty tweet.
if he takes the 6th seed in the world again after this after this game. But
possible.
Yeah, well, I thought it was pretty funny that he was laughing. You know, kind of making fun of him for getting points in open tournaments. But
I would rather say it's a
I think
brave
he's
thing
showing
to go.
balls just to show up, because a lot of these guys, they when they get this rating, they stay away from the open tournaments because they're afraid to lose rating. So,
yeah, just one minor mistake and there's a big disaster basically, rating-wise. So
exactly.
So I think it's a brave thing, but on second board, our dear friend Ivan Sokolov managed to beat David Navarra.
Is he going to win the tournament for the 3rd time in a row?
He's on track. So how was the game? Have you? Because I just came running in.
I think Ivan just played a good game. We'll probably have a look.
As always.
As always, if we have time. Always games from Ivan, but.
Okay, but then Cheparinov managed to beat Robert Hess as well. So they are now top. Sokolov and Cheparinov.
Yeah, they're the only ones with a full score.
Full score.
5 out of 5.
So that's going to be an interesting fight tomorrow, because they will definitely play each other.
Yeah, that's unavoidable there.
And then on board 5, I saw the back of him during the whole game, and saw that he was fighting a hard game. That was my brother.
Yes.
Who keeps on getting good results, keeping my family happy. I definitely don't.
He's on course for a GM norm if he keeps it up.
So it was quite an interesting pairing also, because there were, out of 200 players in the tournament, only 4 players had 3.5 points after 4 rounds. So and the 2 guys who have been like having the best results, basically considering the rating, Teddy Coleman and Bragi Torfinsson, both on track for a GM norm. They actually are paired together for a title chaser fight. So. But I guess
probably the colors fitted. Otherwise, I think Baklan would have played Coleman and Bragi against Kuzubov.
Yeah.
Instead, Baklan and Kuzubov played on board 4.
And actually, Bragi already played Kuzubov.
So yeah, he already played Kuzubov, of course. That's why. Yeah.
That could be the reason. But I don't know about Coleman, if he has finished his IM norms, but this still. He's still on track for an IM norm. And Bragi probably for a GM norm if he keeps this pace up. And then the world champion, who Ivan managed to win after a series of draws. So she's back on track. And what other results should we mention?
Well, Alina Lamy, she drew Stelios
Okay.
Stelio's not having a good tournament.
No,
Usually he plays, I think, pretty good here. He had some chances.
Yeah,
last year
he's
to win the
stuck in
tournament.
drawing mode.
Yeah.
Can be annoying.
Yeah.
But then we're going to take a short look at
this game is
Steingrímsson and Kåre on board 13. That game we will check out in a minute. It's still going on, and very dramatic moments. And that's all. Any kids? We love youngsters.
Yeah, so we check the youngsters. We've been.
We love youngsters getting good results. That's always an interest.
Well, this Norwegian guy, he played you last year and he got a great result. He was drawing almost international masters at will.
Yeah.
So a promising young Norwegian guy. He drew against Helgi Siska.
I see here on board 24, that's a big upset. Yuri Schulman losing against Johan Henriksson from Sweden. Yuri is
He's having a horrible tournament.
definitely not having the greatest tournament
He
ever.
lost against, Shiratnichenko and drew against, I think, an Icelandic guy, no? Peter Besson.
Maybe, I'm not sure. So, but yeah, Yuri.
Yeah, he's having a tough stay in Iceland. He was ground down in the league 2 nights against the pawn, you know.
Yeah, that was.
But credit to him, you know, he after the game he even wanted to analyze, you know, so.
But I saw him later. He was in a good mood anyway. So
yeah, I think he just lost so.
Yeah.
Seems to have a good head on his shoulders.
So anyway, should we then just
won, Irina won.
Turn to the
Well, we should
games.
mention Einar Hjalti, the fourth draw in a row, 3
Yes.
against Grandmasters and 1 against Irina Crush.
And
scroll up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's on board 27 draw against Grandmaster Morris Astley. So yeah, 4th titled draw in a row. So it's
and he's preparing very well. He told me that.
We had a
just
chat.
walked into his Houdini preparation. You know, plays the same line against the French every time. And
okay, but that's so I guess Einar is well on track for an Ironman, which would be great.
Yeah, we talked about Einar before. He was on the Icelandic under-16 Olympic team, which won.
Yeah.
And I forgot to mention one player from that team, the Icelandic team. I mentioned everybody except Bergsteinn Einarsson, my good friend. So my apologies to Bergsteinn. But of course, he hasn't done anything since then, so I'm forgiven. That's a local joke, so you know. Let's see.
But yeah, I think we should just turn to the games and first this amazing.
Let's look at Brage's game.
No, we're gonna first check out the dramatic moment. Before we look at the position, then there were a lot of incidents in this game. Apparently, Steingrímsson felt that Mr. Kåre was making a move without pressing the clock, so they had a bit of an argument, twice at least. I overheard it. So there were some tense moments, definitely. And then this happened. Steingrímsson is, of course, completely winning, although, there's nothing but. He's completely winning. But then he makes this...
rook to b7.
This can very often happen when you are completely winning. You kind of relax and don't focus.
You don't focus on,
and then this disaster happens. Rook b7. And viewers can try for a couple of seconds trying to spot the winning combination. It's already Runa Berg in the audience has already discovered it.
Boom!
Bishop takes h4. Boom! Check. And this is really heartbreaking for
everything dropping. He has to take the bishop, otherwise the queen falls, and then everything is dropping off.
And
pawn,
the rook
another pawn
on b7 is not very well
and
placed
then the
at the
rook
moment.
falls on b7 and he has to suffer for like.
I mean, of course, it's still some small chances of.
Yeah, you can keep fighting, but it must be lost. Yeah.
But this is really.
So from completely winning,
amazing end to a dramatic game. So
rook b7, absolutely the worst square ever for the rook.
Yeah, amazing. This
we all know the feeling when you when your opponent plays a move like that and you realize that.
Heartbreaking stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so which games, since I was just running in, which games have you chosen for us, Ingvar?
I think we should look at Brage's game.
Okay.
Because he's doing pretty good.
I can live with that.
You can live with that. Yeah. So he's joint 3rd at the moment.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean Sokolov and Cheparinov have 5.
Yeah.
So 4.5 is
of course.
third.
So
I haven't seen the game, so we're just gonna look at it.
blue.
And
Okay, knight f3, d5, c4, c6, bishop. I know that Bragi was looking at this.
yeah, let's just go over the opening moves.
But yeah, I was trying to remember his preparation. But
Yeah.
okay, this is normal stuff, probably, or
Yeah, I mean,
it does.
I used to play something like this.
Okay.
From,
Would you say it's boring?
Obviously.
So okay, maybe.
But okay, I did fine with it.
Yeah, but I think this knight h4 maneuver is quite.
Usually the knight is also on c3 and then queen on c2.
Yeah, look, it looks. I came over and checked out this position. I didn't find it that promising for Bragi, but I guess he managed to make it interesting. And here he does with e4. That's the most aggressive move in the position, definitely. That's everything normal. What do you think about this one, Ingar?
Knight c5.
Yeah, knight c5, allowing e5, which is obviously the move.
Well, White's probably going to get an e5 anyway eventually.
Yeah.
He'll play f4 and d5.
Yeah.
Maybe put the king on h2 if he's
okay. This looks forced, and the knight c4.
It's pretty normal.
Yeah, I think White definitely has an advantage now. I'm not.
Yeah, he must be slightly better with the bishop here, and
Yeah.
try to make something happen on the queen side.
Nothing substantial, but still.
Yeah.
Castling.
I've seen Henrik Danielsen grind down similar positions, you know, to play f4, h4, h5.
Yeah, queen e2, just normal moves here, and
just wants to improve the queen a little bit, put her on e6 or something.
And this is a very normal way to play this, because Bragi is obviously just going for the advantage of the bishop here, and he has a stable advantage, I would say. Rook d8, f4.
f4.
That's interesting.
Knight e6.
Knight e6, and knight c2, yeah.
So he's avoiding the exchange.
Yeah. But
well, he needs to finish development somehow, get this bishop out.
I
I'm
must
not
admit
sure how he wants to do it.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. Queen c7.
Queen c7, king
h2.
Improving the position of them. And h4. Planning.
Yeah, it's standard. Maybe he wants to play h5, try to undermine.
Yeah, and then he has some f5. F5.
Yeah, f5, and
there's a storm coming for black.
The bishop can come to e4. Some ideas.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I'm still waiting for him to do something with the black squared bishop. It looks so.
Yeah, well, maybe it's well placed here if f5 is coming in at some point.
Yeah.
But bishop c5, but okay.
Bishop d2.
You had your wish.
Yeah, thank you.
He did something with a black squared bishop. Queen b6, rook b1.
Just protecting the pawn. Okay, we're still having like
maneuvering.
Just a positional, maneuvering struggle. So.
But b4, Bragi is grabbing space whenever he can at the moment. So this is definitely a strong move. And
so let's just go over the next a few moves a bit quick. It's not much. Whoa. Okay.
Whoa. That's an interesting decision. Probably Coleman was impatient. He hasn't had much of a plan, basically, just to, and he didn't fancy probably just waiting for White to.
I don't know if you think it's good or if it's just panic.
I wouldn't say panic, but it's definitely a bit maybe too aggressive.
Yeah, he's going for it.
Okay.
So okay, sacrificing the knight for.
This is forced.
At least 2 pawns. He's probably going to get a third on e5.
Yeah. Rook takes.
So and takes. Knight takes f4.
Yeah, I even thought maybe, okay, it looks dangerous, but I even thought it would be maybe better to take it with the queen. Queen takes and something like this, where...
Yeah, maybe.
Where's the attack? Is it rook, knight h5 coming?
Yeah, knight h5, he gets the bishop off the diagonal immediately.
Yeah, okay, I mean the White's king's position is not...
It's not great.
So this would have been definitely an interesting continuation. Rook takes d1.
So knight takes f4.
with a... He has to move
Attacking
the queen now.
He has to move the queen.
Whoa.
Knight takes on g2.
Knight takes g2. Bishop.
Yeah, we should note that there are no discoveries with the rook for something like this.
Yeah.
Can't take advantage of this pin situation because rook e2 and rook h5 do not come with check.
I take it back. It was probably the best move to take with the rook.
And now bishop g3. Ah, excellent. Maybe black overlooked this.
Yeah, this is definitely what Coleman overlooked.
Yeah, now he keeps control of the e5 pawn. And
yeah.
If the e5 pawn had fallen, then maybe he has good compensation for.
Yeah, for sure.
For the sacrifice, but
this is a typical somehow calculation mistake.
Yeah.
You somehow just.
You just recapture.
Yeah, you recapture automatically.
Recapture immediately. I did exactly the same thing today.
So this is a very typical mistake. So, okay, I guess.
Okay, the knight is lost anyway, so might as well get a pawn for it.
Yeah. But the.
And now it just looks like white has good control.
Yeah, now he's threatening mate, which is always.
Yeah, give him shelter for the king and.
Yeah.
So I think we can confidently say that knight takes f4 was a mistake.
Yeah.
Because
it looks like although he's fighting hard.
He's fighting here.
Okay.
Did they have some time trouble? There was no time trouble. No.
Okay. So and this is a nice finish. Brage is obviously on the attack, and now he just allows
him
to take the knight, but he has a decisive.
He's gonna pick up everything with check, rook f1.
Yeah. And.
Rook d1. Yeah, I didn't see that. I thought he would check on f7.
Yeah, and the queen is going to fall next.
I thought he would check on f7 in this position, but yeah, this
is definitely stronger.
Definitely stronger.
So an interesting encounter, but maybe Coleman was a bit impatient.
Maybe impatient.
What you say, or just a miscalculation that was unfortunate for him. So,
but in any case, a great result for Brage and 4.5 on the 5.
Although
drawing against Kuzubov.
Although we wish our guests a great stay in Iceland, we still favor the Icelandic a little bit. So we must admit that we are a bit
slightly biased.
Yeah, and also because I'm related to him, I guess. But okay, then you picked the game. Since Ingvar is to blame if the games are boring. So it's even.
It's even. Yeah.
Okay.
Navara against Sokolov.
I think this is probably the fourth time we look at Ivan's games in the tournament. Third or fourth.
But he's playing good chess, you know.
Yeah. He deserves it. He's 5 out of 5.
This is the most interesting result so far. I mean,
for sure.
Beating Navara with black, 2700.
That's an amazing result.
Yeah. So
let's quick look, and we had Rui Lopez.
And Ivan likes to play some funky lines. I think Grandmaster Ólafsson was saying that he likes to look at games with Spassky.
Okay, yeah. But he of course had on a great book, Rui Lopez Revisited. Really good book really that I recommend.
Yeah.
D6. I must admit
I don't play the Spanish, but I think this is called the Spanish version or something.
Yeah. Rook e1. We should just go quickly through the opening. I like really
the black setup.
Yeah, I like this setup as well. I've played some dubious. I always played the Cosio variation and tried to set up
like this. And you had another e7, but similar stuff.
Okay, so
it looks like a harmonious position for black.
For both.
Well, for both actually, but
nothing drastic happening. And c5.
And knight b3. At first sight, Grandmaster Ólafsson said this was perhaps a slightly weird move.
Yeah.
Ivan took on d4. And now I think he must take on a5, otherwise maybe the knight comes into c4.
Yeah. And Grandmaster Ólafsson is the trainer of the Icelandic national team, so we take everything that he says as the truth.
Pawn takes d4, knight takes d4, and queen b6. So, I don't know, probably black has solved all his problems. This bishop on g7 looks very good to me.
Do the audience have any view on the position? Which do you prefer? And there's dead silence.
Dead silence.
Still black. Okay.
Yeah.
Equal chances. Yeah.
So okay, maybe he was worried about
Knight f3.
some tactical shots with the knight, so he retreats the knight. Now bishop e6.
This was a fire alarm.
I don't know, some kind of announcement, but we'll just
you can see how cool we
ignore
are.
it.
We will.
It's a live show, so
It's a live show.
anything can happen.
We will only start running when we see the flames.
So knight comes back to d4. The bishop retreats. And now the bishop comes to b7, a better diagonal.
Yeah, this
And
is
now
a
maybe,
nice improvement. Now I'm
now
starting
maybe he
to
has some tactical threats. Black,
Definitely,
yeah, probably.
definitely.
Now maybe he has some tactical threats on e4.
Yeah.
Because the d4 knight is undefended.
And what exactly is White going to? What is his plan basically?
Yeah.
And now he has to.
He has to give the bishop pair.
Yeah.
Which is always a concession. I think black is definitely for choice now.
Yeah, for sure.
So he protects the knight, and now d5, getting rid of his
only weakness in the position.
Yeah. And after that, he will have an open position with a bishop pair. And that's always.
And not only that, isn't he just losing a pawn, or?
Yeah. So now we have a tactical exchange.
No, I mean.
You mean? Yeah, he can't take on d5.
He can't even take on d5. So
yeah.
This looks awful.
Yeah, that's right. Bishop e3, rook takes e4. Okay, you even have to calculate some things here, because you want knight f5.
Yeah, I guess that's the only hope, but still.
Trying to.
Doesn't it look a bit desperate? This can't work. How did?
It didn't take, so.
Rook d8.
So we try to figure out what happens if he takes.
Okay.
Queen takes h6, or.
Queen takes h6. And now.
Maybe queen g6 is hard to meet because.
But what about?
Well, maybe you can play bishop d4 or something.
What about just bishop? Yeah, bishop d4.
Maybe he can.
Check.
Okay, check.
King f8.
And queen takes f5. I mean.
Okay, there are some.
He's just trying to get some counterplay.
Is this something? Isn't this just finished?
It just looks okay.
Maybe queen d7 instead of queen.
Yeah.
Here.
Before.
Oh.
I'll just take on f6 and play rook d7.
Take on what?
f6 and play rook d7.
Yeah, that's true. We can take on f6 and play rook d7.
Yeah. Okay.
Now we get starting to get some pawns.
Yeah, this is maybe a bit complicated. So Ivan chose.
Yeah, Ivan went rook d8 instead, which.
This is also a GM move. Just
keeping things under control.
Yeah,
he already won the pawn on e4, so he can afford to give up the pawn on h6 with jack.
Yeah.
And still keep the advantages of his position, which is the bishop pair. King g7. And now the queen is attacked, so he doesn't have time to take on f7. Queen c1. Rook takes d1, and he has to take with a bishop, because otherwise the knight on h6 is hanging.
I said pawn on
now e3.
Yeah. Okay, this is
cutting the line, so knight has to move, knight c4. Yeah, it's
now the bishop here is just
falling completely apart. Pawn takes f2. And if he takes with a knight, then I guess bishop d4, and the pin is going to be pretty difficult to solve. So that's why I want king f1, bishop d4 anyway. Queen h6 check. He doesn't have any pieces to support the queen.
Oh.
The knight can't do anything because the bishop covers all the squares, and the light squared bishop can't join the attack. So yeah, these just seem like desperate moves at the end. Queen c6.
Nice finish.
Threatening to take on g2. Queen f3. Sorry, bishop f3. Queen c4 check. Bishop e2. And now I took on g2. King takes, queen takes e2. Now he's threatening the queen with check. And after his check on h6, he had to resign. Black is gonna.
Yeah.
Queen next move. Queen takes f7.
This was a very smooth win for Ivan, I would say.
He just escapes here.
Yeah.
Queen f8, bishop g7. And I guess we can put the king on h5, and there are no more checks. And then f1 queen. So nice win by Ivan, yeah, 5 out of 5.
Amazingly, everything is going very smoothly for him at the moment.
Yeah, in the A and B tournaments.
Yeah, yeah. Because what is also amazing about Ivan always when he's in Iceland is that he doesn't withdraw from the social events.
Yeah.
to put it mildly,
Did he come to the pub quiz yesterday?
Yeah, he was.
He was at the pub quiz?
Well, or no, he came at the end to join the fun. So it's an amazing. He feels like home here, I think.
That's
so,
the great thing I like about this tournament. We also have these fun side events. And yesterday we had the annual pub quiz.
What was the best
organized.
question in the pub quiz?
The best question
from the pub quiz.
Ooh.
That's probably something I knew then.
When going time off?
Yeah, there was one question: who is?
That was the easiest question.
Yeah, who is older?
Who's older,
Pal
Benko or
Benko
Taimanov?
or Mark Taimanov? And
50-50.
we went just for Taimanov and had it right.
I think most had it right. It's Taimanov.
Yeah, somehow it was totally out of the blue. But
And Sirbjörn has the tradition that question number 13. It's always about Garry Kasparov.
yes,
Does anybody know why? Yes, Stefan, because he's the 13th world champion. Yes, that's correct.
and that's
excellent.
his favorite number, lucky number.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's gonna be on a big fight tomorrow between Cheparinov and we haven't actually mentioned the results of Cheparinov enough here in this these briefings because he's been playing very.
Put him under the radar, but he's 5 out of 5.
So it's going to be very interesting.
And it looks like he's always well prepared in his games.
No, he's probably one of the best theoreticians in the world.
Yeah.
Among them.
Yeah.
Probably. So I think I will go back home back into the fetal position after this loss today. It was heartbreaking. But other than that, we will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow, actually, there's a double round.
Wrap it up. There's a double round tomorrow. So do we have, Macaulay, do we have 1 or 2 shows tomorrow?
Just one in the evening.
One in the evening.
We will have a long episode.
Yeah. Double round tomorrow, so we need to get some rest. So we'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
And see you tomorrow for round 6 and 7.
Good night.
Bye bye.